Pay me, pay me, pay me my silver now. Pay me or go to jail. Pay me my silver now.
Roadtoroot.com. Before I get started today, check out the new hat. Miles Franklin hat. Yes, it's a collectible. I don't think they sell them. They give them out to a couple of their partners, and we are a partner of Miles Franklin because I absolutely believe in Andy and his company and his people. For purchases of gold, silver, swaps. That's what I want you guys to focus on today. Swapping your gold for silver. What's the ratio? 88 to 1 or something like that? Yes, you won't get exactly 88 to 1 because there are commissions. I think he only does one-way commissions, though, which is good. So if you sell him your gold, they'll charge a normal commission on that, but not on the swap. I think. I don't want to speak out of turn. And I don't know if they're selling these. I don't think they are. I think this is a rare hat right here, the Miles Franklin hat. Which means, of course, everybody's going to call Miles Franklin and say, hey, I want to buy some silver. I'll only buy it if I get a hat. Oh, my goodness. There's your negotiating point. Very cool hat. Shauna, thank you for the hat. Hey, everybody, buy silver. That's what I have to say. Here's what people ask me. Well, what about the COT, commitment of traders? What about the big commercials? What did they do last week? For example, yesterday, the end of yesterday was the end of the reporting week for the commercials. Overall, the market was up a little bit. That means the big commercials shorted as it rose to stop it from the big rise. So when these numbers come out on Friday afternoon, I expect to see not a big, but a slight deterioration, meaning the commercials are shorting even more to control the price. Now, in a free market, that correlation would not stand true. This has stood true since the 1980s. Ted Butler did an amazing job dictating, just showing you how much control this handful of traders have. The Commodities Futures and Trading Commission it's half and half. Half of them, well, 3/4 are just really dumb. Sorry, guys, you're just really dumb. And then the rest are really corrupt. So it's either you're corrupt or dumb, because this is an obvious manipulation of the price of silver, and they don't do a thing about it. They literally don't do a thing about it. As a matter of fact, the head of the CFTC, this guy Rustin Benham, came out and bragged that they can tamp down the market structure. Due to the market structure in silver, meaning due to the manipulation of silver, we were able to tamp down the price of silver when it almost hit $30 back 2021 or whatever that was, that everybody got excited. But Rustin Benham and the futures and options group of manipulators, yes, the U.S. government is in on the manipulation. They were able to tamp down silver. I think the tamping down is ending very fast. And what happens when they tamp down silver? Silver gets allocated in places it shouldn't go, like every single solar panel on the planet. And just announced, remember, the end of last year, when everybody said, oh, solar's dead, but you don't know what you're talking about. India installs 12.1 gigawatts in the first half of solar. India installed about 9.6 gigawatts of utility-scale solar, 1.8 gigawatts of rooftop PV, and 688 megawatts of off-grid capacity for the first half of 2024. Roughly 12.1 gigawatts. You think, what does that mean? What does that mean, Bix? That is right down here, 78.9, almost 80% growth in the amount of solar going into India. Can I say I told you so yet? Can I say I told you so? The silver market cannot handle this kind of demand. You might say, where'd they get the silver, Bix? Remember that 70 million ounces of silver they imported in January or in February of this year? That's part of it. It is not stopping. China's even doing more. If you go to roadtoroot.com, the front page, this is the Bloomberg. I embellished the chart to show what was really going on because they made so many of the perk modules last year and didn't even install them. So are they installing them now? I think they've literally bunny hopped the perk technology. Perk technology, the efficiency was shit. That's why everybody is changing now. It'll be 80% TopCon, which uses even more silver. And depending on how it's made and by who, it's either 40 to 50, maybe even 60% more silver than they were using before. And all the higher technology stuff uses even more silver than that. You might be saying, where's all the silver coming from? You got me. Mostly probably out of places like SLV and obviously the COMEX and the NYMEX, or COMEX and the LBMA. Now, those are all, quote, reported inventories. They're probably all the same inventory, by the way, but even those are flowing out. So I do expect this year for the world to wake up, and for other reasons as well, but the world to wake up and understand that we need to stop putting all this silver into these solar panels. It's really hard to get out. They will invent ways, and they are inventing ways, but still, I mean, if you're taking a used solar panel after 25 years, mind you, remember, if you look at the volume, all this volume happened in the last couple of years. These panels won't come out for 25, 30 years. So don't rely on all the silver coming back into the market from the solar panels for at least 25 years. This game would be long over by then, hopefully. Hell, I've been in this business for about that long. So yeah, it's very exciting times if you're a silver investor. Get it in your own possession. Contact Mr. Andy Scheckman if you don't have a local guy. I always say get somebody you know and trust that you can deal in silver with, because there's a lot of slime bags out there. Slime balls, slime bag, what do you call it? Shit bags, slime balls. Andy is not one of those guys. Andy is a sound individual. As a matter of fact, let's play Andy's president and owner speech. Look how absolutely presidential he looks.
Welcome to Miles Franklin. My name is Andy Scheckman. My father and I started Miles Franklin together in 1989 with a focus on customer service and education, and a belief that precious metals are wealth, not an investment. A commitment and belief that continues today. We are one of only a select handful of United States Mint authorized resellers in the world, an honor we are supremely proud of. We maintain an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, and in 3 decades and over $7 billion in sales, we've never had a material customer complaint.
I will vouch for that. All my people absolutely love Andy and Miles Franklin and the service you get. So contact him, info@milesfranklin.com. Email, info@milesfranklin.com. Or you can call them at, where's their phone number? Right here, 952-929-7006. That's 952-929-7006. Go to milesfranklin.com. Info@milesfranklin. Great guys, great team he's got there to help you through the chaos of these crazy manipulation days. Again, this week, the reporting week ended yesterday for the commitment of traders report, which means since the market was up a little bit, there'll be a little bit of a degradation in the commercial position, meaning the commercials are going to add more shorts just to control the rise in price. And I'll show it on Friday. It's not going to be big though, and the sad thing is that you know what it is, and it has been this way for over 40 years. That's not a free market, my friends. That is not a free market, even though the CFTC seems to have a problem with that. Anyway, really exciting news that India installs 12 gigawatts. I am upping my prediction. I had predicted 600 to 700 gigawatts for installation. Remember, last year was 443. Shocked everybody. Shocks people so much that the Silver Institute had to lie about these numbers. Every one of these red boxes is a lie. They changed the previous year's numbers to make it look like they didn't do over 350, 400 million ounces of gold in solar, which they did. And now if they're going, let's just say 50% higher, that's going to be what? That's going to be 600 to 650, 600 million ounces of silver. It's like, what? No way, Bix, you're crazy. Those are the actual numbers. And no matter what the Silver Institute does to lie, and here's more numbers they lied on, they keep adding to their lie, thinking we won't know what we're talking about. We're the Silver Institute, so we know everything. We work with Metals Focus. I sat there with both those guys, the head of both those companies. I said, how are you going to report what's going on in 2023? Halfway through, I said, the industry is claiming that there's a 76% jump in solar installations. How are you going to pretend that it didn't grow at least that much considering the TopCon? But they did. They didn't even explain why it did. They came up at 38% growth, half of what it actually was. And I find it very interesting that they use the exact, because they're just guessing on that number, and then they change all the other numbers to make it look right. So they went exactly half of what they actually used, which is really scary because that puts us around 400 million ounces last year. And this year, more and more TopCons going in, which would be 600 million ounces. And you're like, Bix, what are you talking about? How can they put 600 million ounces in solar panels? They did, because they lied, cheat, and steal, and the price is so cheap. As a matter of fact, the price is so cheap that the stuff like this makes sense. This is going to blow you away. Have you ever heard of solar highways? It was an article. World's highways could host 52 billion solar panels, say researchers. Research from the Chinese Academy of Science in Columbia University have concluded that solar-covered highways could meet more than 60% of the world's annual energy needs. Yes, you can put solar panels in the highways. And you're like, no, Bix, that's George Jetson type of stuff. No, there's a company doing it. Check this out.
Okay, so actually this time, what is it? It's technology that replaces all roadways, parking lots, sidewalks, driveways, tarmacs, bike paths, and outdoor recreation surfaces with solar panels. And not just lifeless, boring solar panels. Smart, microprocessing, interlocking, hexagonal solar units. No more useless asphalt and concrete just sitting there baking in the sun, needing to be repaved and filling with potholes that ruin your axle alignment on your sweet ride, bro. These are intelligent solar panels. Replace a panel at a time if damaged or malfunctioning. They're covered with a new tempered glass material that has been designed and tested to meet all impact, load, and traction requirements. Oh, and did I mention that they're also solar panels? They generate electricity. They generate capital. They pay for themselves, and they keep paying more because we're not going to...
That's the key. A lot of people say, oh, that would cost too much. They pay for themselves. They're revenue generators because as they're lying there on the freeway, they are creating power to power our cities, and people pay for power. This is amazing stuff, and the things you can do, you can program it.
That lowers the cost of energy, unlike those bills in the mail that keep going up. And it's clean energy. Everyone can theoretically drive an electric car with no pollution and a minimal carbon footprint. Can you imagine how good our cities would smell? How much healthier we'd all be? Excuse me, young man, am I being led to believe that this thing is some sort of thing? Yes, it's a thing, a real thing. And clean energy is only its primary function. Grab a notepad, because this is where it gets interesting. For those in the north, the panels use energy they collect to power elements to keep the surface temperature a few degrees above freezing. They're heated. No more ice and snow on roads causing traffic delays, accidents, and injury. No more shoveling your driveway and sidewalk. No salt corroding your car or wasting tax money on snow removal. And you can ride your bike or drive your motorcycle all year round. Whoa! Every panel has a series of LED lights on the circuit board that can be programmed to make landscape designs, warning signs, parking lot configurations, whatever. These roads never have to have lanes repainted, just reprogrammed to whatever we choose or whatever works best. Imagine a highway road lighting up ahead of you. How much safer it would be to drive at night. There'd be improved visibility for pilots landing on solar landing strips. Imagine walking onto a solar recreation court and choosing a sports configuration. Want to play basketball? Cool. Kids want to play hopscotch and foursquare? Awesome. Ball hockey? Done. And with LED lights under your feet, it's gonna look like freaking Tron out there.
This is just, the world is changing so crazy fast. Now, obviously, the glaring part about this, 52.3 billion solar panels creating 17.5 trillion, or terawatts, 17.5 terawatts, there's not enough silver for that. They're going to have to invent something new because it won't be done with silver. That would be, I don't know, 7 billion ounces of silver. That's every ounce of silver on the planet, including your fillings. You see where we're getting to? The insanity of market manipulation, market price suppression creates distortions, misallocation of assets. Silver is being misallocated into electric cars, into solar panels, but it's not stopping. No matter how much people will yell at me over and over. Oh, the solar panels are dead. This year, at least 50% growth in solar panels. Last year was 76%. And they're using more and more and more silver, not less and less and less. Why? Because it's more efficient, it's better, they make better solar panels. And when you're calculating out a 25, 30-year-old asset, little tiny bumps in efficiency, 1% bump in efficiency, you times it by 40. It's not the exact way to do it, but times it by 40. That's 40% efficiency if you have it for 40 years on a PV basis, obviously. Anyway, that's why the price of silver can keep going up and up and up, and they're not going to stop making solar panels and using all that silver until it hits a certain threshold where it doesn't make sense anymore. Putting in a solar panel for 25, 30 years doesn't make sense anymore. Right now, it makes absolute sense. It's like free. Not that you guys don't know this. If you've been watching me long enough, this is just proof positive that India announces officially 12.1 gigawatts of solar, up from last year's gigantic move, 80%. Well, there you have it. So what do the riggers do? They play this game with the moving averages. 200-day, 100-day. You can see it right here. You see it every day. It breaks above. Oh, they all get excited, and everybody gets excited. The weekends get in. And then guys like HSBC, who is the big short, right? We know HSBC is the big short all year. Why? Because they look at all the silver they delivered this year. Every single month, they're the biggest delivery. And who's the biggest taker? Usually JP Morgan Chase, of course. Basically, this is the return of leased assets. That's my take. This is the return of that massive lease that Bank of America did. They're still in there. Look at this. That was a big month. Look at that. That's 5 million ounces that in March, that Bank of America issued and then stopped on their own. I mean, why doesn't anybody ask the questions, the real questions? Why is Bank of America giving back 5 million ounces and taking 5 million ounces in the same month? And then don't do much of anything in the other months except take more silver. It's all got to do with when these lease contracts expire. I'll guarantee you that 5 million ounces, it was a payoff of the first lease and went into another year-long lease. That's what it is. It's a con, and HSBC is bleeding silver right now. Look at all that silver. It's only HSBC. I mean, I think they delivered over half of the silver. And why doesn't the CFTC think that's a problem when you have a single entity delivering half the silver in a given year? And why is HSBC USA so short? Well, maybe they are the hedge book runner for the U.S. Mint, the good old U.S. Mint, who cannot seem to figure out how to make a silver eagle. Look, I haven't looked in a while. 1,700, 17, or 1.7 million, 1.7 million, 1.7 million, and we're on track for another 1.7 million. Does that look a little suspicious for an entity, a public entity required by law to create silver eagles to meet demand? That is required by law. Yes, the Treasury has to determine whether or not it is meeting demand, but even the Treasury is bound by that law. They have to meet public demand. And are they trying to tell us that February the public demand was 1.7 and every other month almost this year has been 1.7? And we know the capacity that they can make 4, 5, 6, up to 6 million coins, silver eagles per month, and they can only do 1.7 million? That's fraud, my friends. I'm tired of the excuses coming out of the U.S. Mint, coming out of the U.S. Treasury. I get it. They don't want silver to be, it is so crazy scarce right now. They don't want to go bid up the price. So they're going to use their derivative partner, HSBC, to short the crap out of it. And maybe these are deliveries to the U.S. Mint. If they are, they're not using them. What are they doing with it? And why does the U.S. Mint have a hedge book in the first place? If you want to know more about the U.S. Mint, go to roadtoruta.com, the very front page. Scroll down and you'll hear my chat. I called customer service. They couldn't answer my questions, so they gave me the head of Silver Eagle sales. to answer all my questions, and he did. A guy named Jack Sermon, awesome guy. He's been there a zillion years, since the beginning of the program. He knows that market inside and out. And we talk about, do people sell silver eagles? Very rarely do people sell eagles, and that's kind of the hidden secret. But we go over, why can't they make the coins? And he said, well, the U.S. Mint likes to use them for the other higher quality. I'm like, no, that's not the law. He said, well, they changed the law. I go, come on, Jack, read the law with me. He goes, oh, yeah, I guess you're right. There's 5 things, he says, I guess I'm right. Now, they're doing illegally, the U.S. Mint. The hedge book is a big one. He didn't even know about the hedge book. He remembers when he first started and the hedge book really kicked in, he went up to talk to the hedge guys and say, hey, I'm going to buy all this, silver and then sell it real quick. You might not need to hedge it, or you might need to hedge it. And they're like, get out of our office. Get out of here. You're not allowed to come in here. He's like, what do you mean? I'm head of sales. I'm letting you know what kind of supply and demand's coming in. And they're like, get out of my office. Oh, my God. Working at the Mint must just be insane. They must be so embarrassed that the Canadian Mint overtook them. It's so embarrassing for the Mint, for the country, especially if we're going to turn to the Mint as the system falls apart to be the new creator of the money of the United States, which I think we are. But they have lost every sense of self-respect. And it was clear to me he blamed the current management. Ventress Gibson, the person who's never worked a day in the Mint in her life, and now she's running the Mint. What did she do her whole life? HR, human resources, inclusivity. Make sure you hire the right kind of people, like right color people. The right color of people need to be hired. It sounds like discrimination if you ask me. We need this many black people and this many brown people. And that's purely hiring people based on their color, not on what they do or who they are. These HR people have it all backwards. It's annoying me. Anyway, again, U.S. So this article, U.S. community solar capacity to exceed 14 gigawatts by 2029, which is 5% growth every year. And then 10 and 11% decline on the average. So from 5% down to 3%, 2%, 1%. It's insane. And this analytic group, Wood Mackenzie, has been wrong every year by far. Last year, I think they predicted 250 gigawatts installation, and it was 440. It is shocking how wrong everybody has been, all the expert analysts in solar. The closest has been Jenny Chase of Bloomberg. And that's the graph I redid right here. Now, I added this because all the extra panels that were built. But, yeah, they had it right. So if 443, this was done near the end of the year, I think, third quarter. Okay. So they had 443 gigawatts being installed in 2023. And then they said, but it's going to slow down to 511. They've already upped that to 600. And they'll up it some more because the second half of the year is usually when the most of the solar panel installations go in. I know. Bix, you can say this a million times. How's that going to change the price of silver? It won't. Why won't it? Because of this. Because of this 100-day and 200-day moving average thing. And 99% of the trades are high-frequency traders trading back and forth with each other, these big banks that rig and control the price of silver. Just like Rustin Benham, the head of the CFTC, said. It's the market structure that was able to tamp down the market. He's tamping down fair market value. That is not a free market. That's the exact opposite of a free market. But he apparently can't figure that out. Apparently. So, yeah. Awesome stuff with the highway. That would be cool, but you better not plan on using silver to do it because there's just not enough in the world. Cryptos, yes, I'm still massively bullish on T-Fuel right now. T-Fuel and Theta, they are doing everything right. They just got a new patent. Let's see. Where am I going? Just yesterday, I think it was announced. There it is. Theta Labs has a new patent for edge compute platforms supported by smart contracts with off-chain solution verification. These guys have so many patents. If you think there's going to be a decentralized cloud any day in the future, you want to have those patents. And you want to be teamed with the companies that are going to be doing that. So the question lies, if it's decentralized, how do they make money, right? The question lies in how many of the big guys of the cloud service providers are you going to partner with? Well, there's only 3 really, really big ones. Google Cloud, Amazon Cloud, and the Microsoft Cloud, which is Azure. Theta Labs is partnered with all 3 of those. They're all working on the cloud together. Guess who the preferred, and Theta has all these patents, which are great for the kind of business they're doing. Remember, Theta is, in essence, all it is a software download that allows you to share your computer, share your broadband, share your hard drive, share your CPU processing power. It's the future, my friends. And I can scream all I want, but the crypto is a weird world. With crypto, it's like it only moves based on what every other crypto does because everything goes off Bitcoin. If Bitcoin goes down, everything goes down, and vice versa. And you really shouldn't look at your assets based on the whole market. I get it that cryptos are early, and history has shown that it's just crypto investors, some people coming in with a lot of cash, which is great, but mostly it's crypto investors swapping their Ethereum for T-Fuel, swapping their Bitcoin for Theta, swapping whatever for whatever. So if the price of the underlying asset they're trading for, Bitcoin and Ethereum, goes down, of course, every exchange has this set up buy sells, it automatically goes down. But it doesn't value the true potential of the company, of the token. What is the true potential of Theta? I think it should be well into the hundreds right now, and it's trading at $1.17, and T-Fuel is even, I think, even more undervalued at 20-1. I see the T-Fuel relationship going below 10-1 at some point when people figure out, holy shit, this stuff actually does stuff. I can earn T-Fuel by sharing my TV when I'm not watching it in the background. That's why they partner with Samsung and Sony. It's all about the partners now. Anyway, that's what I got for you. Again, buy your silver, get as much as you can in your own possession. If you want to participate in the future, buy some Theta and Theta Fuel. I think those are the most undervalued of all the cryptos. And I do see them potentially, the market cap, surpassing Bitcoin at some point. Because it's much more useful than Bitcoin. But I get it. At first people get Bitcoin because that's all they feel comfortable with. Guys like Michael Saylor, they'll get Bitcoin because I'm moving from a place of complete knowledge where I know everything about the stock market, bond market, and all that, and my company, that's what my company does, to the crazy crypto world. But Bitcoin, yeah, that's accepted now. The rest of it, no. Shitcoin, all that shit. Well, if you can analyze the business, you know how big Theta and Theta Fuel, and it's going to be big. But, hey, it's not like I didn't tell you so every day, right? All right, that's what I got for you. Again, go to milesfranklin.com to get your silver and look at the man, the myth, the legend. There he is, Andy Schectman. What a great guy. I'll talk to you guys later.